from here.
Tell me when we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Hello, everybody. Setting everything up here. Okay.
Let me check my end. Put it on
Live chat.
live chat.
Just in case Stray Bullet comes in here.
From the beginning, Patrick.
And Patrick is back. Hello, Patrick.
Alright, why did you do that? Sorry. It restarts when it starts. Okay, Patrick, hand up as Raiden.
Yes, Braden. Hello.
Faith.
Faith. Hello.
Side Rider.
Side right. Yeah. Hello.
I can't pronounce that name. Sorry.
Howdy.
Side Rider. Jay.
Jay. Yes, I saw him.
Cop Car Steve.
Cop Car Steve. Yes. So Stray Bullet is in here.
Mark Sauvé.
Hello, Mark.
Paco Alpha.
Hola, Paco Alpha.
I still have Patrick. Believe in yourself.
Hello, Believe.
Steven Anders is here twice.
Good. Steven.
Buddy Carofano.
Hello, buddy.
Dean Stevenson.
Hello, Dean.
Stray Bullet.
Stray Bullet, we can see you.
Josh Holman.
Hello, Josh.
Hi. Yes, I think that's
No.
not that immersing.
Okay. Daniel. I saw Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
There's just a few Ram Chargers on the list today. Just a few.
The Dodgers finished. Yeah.
He just finished. He went a couple minutes over.
Karibuda's here.
Karibuda. He likes to switch letters around. How you guys doing tonight?
I am making chicken, so I have to keep an eye on ear up for that.
Yeah. It's in the oven.
Danny Boyd is here.
Hello, Danny Boyd.
Dean says, Stray Bullet, who let you in? You will become invisible when you come in.
Hopefully not. What's going on tonight, guys? It's really warm here. A little bit of breeze outside.
Oh, I don't have the remote for the fan. I think it's over there.
I don't use a remote for it.
Dean says, may your Buddha be eternally blessed. Marcus Barracuda, I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's from a song.
No, my father used to say that if he ever got stopped, that's what he would say.
Oh, okay. I only know from a song. I didn't know it was a thing before that.
Yes, it was. Everything was a thing before.
I guess, but like I only know it from a song, from a recent song. So Steven says pollo. See, I'm making pollo.
Dos
pollos.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says -3 degrees Celsius.
Hey, it's getting warmer there. That's good.
Daniel says, Mr. and Mrs. Spec, how are you doing both? And we're doing good.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
It's a bit warm. And Mr. Spec stole my fan last night. So
you put it in front of my door.
No, I was sitting here getting ready for my party. And you're like, hey, before you leave, can you put your fan in my bedroom?
And you did. So
there's a mosquito right there. Right here. My finger. Over there. There you go.
Got him.
So yeah, because you asked me to, and when I came back, you still had it, and you were all like, "Oh, I'm sleepy."
I was in bed.
My fan.
I was in bed.
So rude. So yeah, he stole my fan, and I was hot last night. Dean says UTE and Jamie let me out without a note.
Well, you tell him next time we need a note.
Steven says pollo asado. Yes.
Asada? Not really. Well, it's en el horno.
Pollo al horno.
Sí.
Thunderbird is here.
Hello, Thunderbird.
And Mark says, I never knew it was a song. It was in a song. Yeah, it's Panic at the Disco song. I can't remember the name of it right now. But
you haven't ever used it on a police officer, have you, Mark? And if so, how long did you stay in jail?
The trouble says, I have mosquitoes here now. Yeah, you have to buy a racket. It's a lot of fun.
Well, he's saying it's warm. It's warming up there.
That's good. But buy a racket. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. Um, Mark says, hi to Dean. Farguda says, it's hot here.
Well, yeah, because you're upside down.
Fort Rose is here.
Hello, Ford.
And
God,
it says,
everything's blurry.
banter is so funny. I know, right?
It's not planned. It just is.
He stole my phone. I was
Well, you
hot.
have one now, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, but I had to clean it.
That was your choice.
Mira, te voy a pegar. I'm gonna hit you. Mark says no, they don't have a sense of humor.
I wouldn't expect them to.
Dean says, well, I know it's kind of late. I hope I didn't wake you, but what I gotta say can't wait. I know you'd understand.
I know the rest of that song, Dean.
What song
You don't need to say it. Just called to say.
Because it says, is it hot in Netherlands?
Why is everything blurry?
I know. I find it blurry as well.
I better go get some new glasses.
That's why I like it in here better.
Well, I told you guys that, my luck was that I had the customer ready to send me, actually, this is probably him, send me the money for a RAM charger, but the guy said he had somebody coming today. Nope, not him. Somebody coming today to look at it. So I had to put my client off. So I asked the guy today, the owner of the truck. He says, "Oh well, they had some bad luck. They had an accident. They couldn't come and look at the truck." And I'm like, "Hey, my luck is getting better." So told the client, I need you to send the money right away because we need to leave this week. Because next week is Semana Santa, Holy Week, and Thursday and Friday everything is going to be closed. So we can't do that.
Hold on.
Hold on, what?
Hold on.
Let's see. Mark says, nope, they don't have a sense of humor. Dean is singing. Blah, blah. Stray Bullet says, will there be Cuban cars available soon? Nobody wants those Cuban cars, Stray Bullet. They all have Russian diesel engines in them or whatever. You do not want to see the condition of those cars. Yeah, that's the song right there.
Because every time I try to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I'll have to say I love you in a song.
Isn't that I just called to say I love you? What's his name?
Barry White? No.
No. He's much lighter skinned than Barry White. Lionel Richie.
There you go. Regardless, I often spell words back to front. It happens to me too. Dean says, you bet, Jamark. The song, I just can't remember the name of the song right now, but it's by Panic at the Disco.
Not my department.
He's a good singer. He sings pretty well. Um, you will like his music. Splendor says, "How?"
What?
I don't know what that is.
It's what backwards?
Ah, Trouble says, "I know, but they might make good race cars." Remember says, "Nice two-tone car, red and white."
Yep.
Coral says, "They are all butchered Cuban cars."
Yep. Every one of them to keep them running. This is the kind of car that Buff had when he was young. I think this is a 56 because of the turn signal. The 55 had a round one, I think.
Are you calling him old?
He knows he's old.
You're so
But
rude.
this car is 2 hours from me. I just wonder what they would do with the license plate because it's not in the system anymore, being the 1990s plate that they never changed. They haven't paid any registration fees for 30 years.
Dan says, I just called to say this my book's over to 5 seconds.
You're mixing two different things.
Steven says, yes, Jim
Croce.
Croce. He was going to stop to stop torturing to be with his family. So
Touring.
touring. Oh, sorry.
Why do you have torture on
Because
your man?
it's the freaking heart is there and I can't read.
And you can read it up here.
No, it's too blurry. Can I change the words? I wonder if I can. I'm not gonna mess with it right now, but remind me to check if I can change the size of the words.
Meaner than a junkyard dog. Yeah, that was another one of his songs. Who says a junkyard dog is mean? Just protecting his territory. And all the old cars are his territory.
Packard?
Yeah, that's this car, which you do not see. 58 Packard. The owner thinks it's a 57, but he doesn't know about the two headlight rule, so it is a 58.
Triple says my dad rolled one of those 56 Fords in the late 60s.
Did he live?
I'm gonna go with yes.
We can assume so since Stray Bullet is here. We can assume. So weird to see one of these old cars. The car is, what, 66 years old now with a brand new license plate on it.
Why is everyone singing today?
Because it's, well, the ones that are singing, it's what, it's the middle of the day over there or something, or in the afternoon.
Hmm. Regular says if I could say time in a bottle. I don't know that song.
I do.
I don't think so. Dean says Leroy Brown was meaner. Jim C was a kitten. Moore says Mr. and Mrs.
Spec.
Spec. How's your cat?
He's
My
a pain in the butt.
Yeah, he's not in here right now. He was being
No.
spanked. Uh,
What?
he was. Hold on. He was being spanked consensually.
What are you talking about?
He likes to be spanked.
He does not.
He goes to. Somebody says, I was just a youngster. Yeah, he lived. So he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
Purple says Ford made a Starliner that looked like an Impala, like that Impala.
Yes. The 1960 Chevrolet, I like. I have never liked the 1960 Ford. It's odd. Doesn't fit the mold. 1960 Edsel, I'll take all day long. But the Ford, I'm not a fan.
Dean says it has to be a vacuum rated container or fence will shut down the worksite barracuda. Hmm? Mark says, so I just listened to the song. Well, what song?
Just coincidentally,
There's no coincidences.
we can call it a coincidence. What would that be on the top of the dashboard there? Would that be attack? It looks like it's professionally installed. Yeah, it looks like attack. Why would he have attack? It's a floor shifted car, not factory, of course.
Does
But
anyone know Panic at the Disco?
not Hispanic, just panic.
Yeah, does anyone knows Panic at the Disco? Race car, says Bullet. Dean says tachometer.
A four-door 62 Chevy, probably with an inline six, is not quite a race car.
Vintage Pedro drives with you.
Hello, Tanner.
Why do I have to say all the name and you say Tanner? The whole name.
Because you don't know his name is Tanner.
Fair, fair. Tanner says, hey Megs and Mrs. Spec. I won't be here for long, but figure I'd stop by and say hi.
Thank you. We do appreciate it.
Vin says, tacky, tacky.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to be in that car, though. Inline six.
Mark says, there's a guy that drag races a 60 Chevy like that one. Leaves the line with the left front high in the air and dragging the bumper on the right rear.
Well, he should probably put a little wheel on the back bumper so he's rolling on the wheel and not on the back bumper.
Mm-hmm.
Back bumpers are hard to find. Ask Scott at Cold War Motors.
Barracuda says, I like the 60 Chevy and Ford, probably the Ford more.
That's weird. Very that's weird.
Mark says,
The 64 went out of the thing like the 58 did. It doesn't have a round tail light. It's got these weird fins on it and weird front end and everything. It's just odd.
um, Mark says, I'm not as stink as you drunk I am, so.
Oh,
Dean says, his panic? I heard it was panic where his dicks are. No, panic at the disco. Then Mark says, nice green tuna boat. Dean says, him, hi Tanner, Tannerite.
Tannerite.
Mark says, I'll send you a bid.
Oh, thank you.
Tanner
Then
says,
I'll have it in my head too, Mark.
Tanner says, hey Kiwi, how's it going on the island that, sorry, they wanted to be a continent, but has too much underwater?
I'm gonna get me a piece of paper and a pen because I want to ask Thunderbird a question. Thunderbird, what?
You didn't broadcast?
I don't want a cat in here.
Aww.
Thunderbird, what land crossing did you say it would be at if we ship the cars to Long Beach and then have them transported up? What would be the land border, the land crossing?
Jeff Hutchins is here.
Hello, Jeff.
Hold on.
Thanks for joining us.
Margaret says, I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. Joe says, those cars are actually light compared to modern equivalents.
Oh yeah,
Cars.
that's for sure.
Jeff says, yo, Mr. and Mrs. Spec. Mark says, well. Dean says, I feel like the man who sunk Atlantis, Tanner. Poor Rule says, Hawaii got 22 inches of rain.
They know how to handle rain. It happens all the time.
Barracuda says, I prefer the Chevy mechanical bits, though, in that era.
Yeah, that is easier to work on.
Believe in Yourself says, Thunderbirds are go. This is the memory triggered.
Is that from a cartoon, believe?
Mm-hmm. Fernando says, I remember the model garage in Popular Science magazine. Gus, oh,
Wilson.
I guess Wilson would have automotive hands, caster wheels under the bumper of long low cars was one of them.
It helps the rear bumper, especially now when you can't find one to replace the one that you mess up.
Dean says, you're lucky you were decent and refined before you hit the yo ho ho and bottle of rum and rattle of rum. Chevrolet says, hopefully some of that water makes it to California.
Yeah, but it'll be salt water by then.
Um, Super Mario Nation. That sounds like something I should know.
Tanner, are you ready to spar with Thumper, sweaty fat guy? He's always making comments about your cars. You got to have some good comebacks.
Um,
Where'd Thunderbird go?
Chevrolet says, "Ooh, look at that."
I have my pen and paper so I can write it down.
Miranda says, "Puppets."
Puppets? Where? Where puppets? Oh yeah, Thunderbirds. Okay, yeah, they were puppets. Don't know how they didn't get their strings all meshed together.
Dean says, "Yes, Mr. Tempest, it is Agent X-20. Please give me the Stingray or you'll end up with an Austin Marina."
Nobody wants an Austin Marina.
Daniel says, "A great song. You might like Spanish Eyes by
Engelbert
Engelbert
Humperdinck.
Humperdinck." So says that's for sale.
Yes.
Overbuilt Automotive is here,
Hello, overbuilt automotive. Thanks for joining us.
and they say, "Sweet Datsun. I like that one." Um, Ford says we used to have re-chrome shops here. EPA restrictions killed them off.
Yeah, and we have them here, but when everybody that I talked to that used the one in Tijuana said to use the one in Guadalajara. The ones that used the one in Guadalajara said use the one in Tijuana. So I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Ford says we used to, oh no wait, I read that one. Dean says Impul bird humpadunk. Are you still saying words? Dean says he's so sweet. Vintage says I'm not quite back to feeling the back and forth yet. Once I get moved into my house and start working on my race camp again, that'll be when the shade starts getting thrown again.
You're giving him time to get all of his ammunition together.
Dean says me too overbuilt. Bartolo says Marina will be mine. Troy Tempest, mine. Joel says, is that Datsun far from California?
It's here in Mexico, and it is one of the vehicles that can be taken into California legally. You don't have to ever smog it.
Jeff Hutchins says, a high school friend had one of those little Datsun trucks back in the late 80s.
Of that model, you sure it was that old, the early 60s? Because there wasn't too many of them around.
Steven Andrews says, Stingray.
Where'd Thunderbird go? I've got my post-it pad and my pen ready to write down so I can ask the transport company how much it would be to move the cars.
Ian says, I would just wait till the piano turns into a weapon. Launching panel, Mr. Tempest.
I don't know what any of that means.
If you don't know,
I'll just wait for the piano until the piano turns into a weapon launching panel. Is that from a movie or something?
mm-hmm. Steven Andrews says, how much is this 68 pony?
I'd have to check my list. I don't have the prices here. I didn't put the prices up with the things. But probably 3 times what the wagon was asking.
Diamond says, nice stands.
There are two things it is very difficult to pry out of the hands of Mexicans. One is their trucks, and the other is the first generation Mustangs. They do not let them go easily.
In similar scaling all battle stations.
Stations. Three
So,
times.
wait, scaling all battle stations.
Mm-hmm.
Stable says, I'll bet that Datsun gets good gas mileage compared to my Silverado with the 8.1 liter engine.
There might be a guy that wants that Datsun, the guy with the museum right near the Hollywood sign. I said, "Where are you?" He says, "We're in Hollywood, right at the base of the first O in the Hollywood sign."
Okay.
So he got really specific, but the vehicle that he gets has to be absolutely perfect. It cannot be. It can't. Like a brand new car. It has to be for his. I said, "But you can't register the car in California." He says, "We don't register the cars."
Oh, okay. So it says, and the check engine light on. For his Silverado.
This little Datsun truck doesn't have power windows though. You're gonna have to reach over to the other side of the truck to put the passenger window down with the crank.
Francoda says the only word in the Stingray theme song is Stingray. Dean says Stingray, Stingray, Dada, Ding, Ding, Dong, Dong. Are you singing
He's
again?
he's just putting things for you to repeat them.
Jeff says yes, it was that old. Nobody around had ever seen one before, and there was no internet back then. And Dean says anything can happen in the next half hour, KJ Kylie's here.
Hello, KJ Kylie. Thanks for joining us.
And they ask next, do you have a 5.9 Magnum you're working on?
I don't work on anything, KJ, but I have one in my Durango. It's got around 70,000 miles on it.
Someone says you can't sell it to the communist Mexican. What? Someone says you can't sell it to a communist Mexican.
No, because they don't have any money.
Believe says it was a Rambler American sedan similar to this that we had a head-on collision in. Made a hole in the windshield with my head.
Ooh,
Ouch.
that's not good.
Fernando says Fireball XL5. Dean says, but it ended in Marina, pretty Marina. Pergola says, I love a Plymouth like that. How much for one like that?
Are you talking about the what Plymouth? Because we're looking at a Javelin on the screen. What Plymouth was it, Barracuda? Was it the blue Dodge Dodge 330? The 63? I don't know what car you're asking about though.
Pergola says, oh, some of them have plenty of money.
Yes, but they're communists. They don't do anything in the capitalist system.
You know what? I need to check on my chicken.
Mm-hmm. Dean Stevenson says, wow, 200 miles per hour speedometer.
More. Oh, okay.
Plenty of room. No, not miles per hour. kph, Dean. These are definitely not 200 mile per hour cars with an inline six in them. Definitely not. The blue 66 Plymouth. Blue 66 Plymouth. There was a blue 66 Plymouth. Is the I'm trying to think what it was, Barracuda. Yeah, Ford. It was kilometers. We have kilometers in Mexico. Ever always have from the early times. Not like Canada that came into it late. KJ Kylie. I have a 97 Dakota 3.9 Magnum. I put a Dr. Arts ECU on it 2 years ago and made a noticeable improvement. Highly recommended. I asked him if I need to send him the computer that's in my truck, or can he get one from a junkyard, tune it, and then send that to me? Because I can't have my truck down for weeks and weeks while the mail delivers him, then he does it, and then he sends it back. So, and the computer that's in my truck is not the original from the truck anyway, because that one, something happened to that one, and I had to find a replacement. They build them good in Mexico, Dean. Dean. Champagne can't communists are great to do business with if they are well heeled. Yes. Will the Trill is here. Hello, Will. Good evening, Mexican Spec and Mrs. Spec. Stephen Andrews, 100 kilometers equals 62 miles per hour. Right. Exactly. Ford, you doubled it. Jeff, I haven't been on in a couple of weeks. Has the craziness cartel violence chilled out? Yeah, that was done in about 72 hours. Then everything was back to normal. Even on the highways, when they cleaned the burned vehicles off the highway, it was just a temper tantrum they threw, and that doesn't make them any money, so they had to stop and go back to work. So everything's fine, everything's calm. I'm going to be heading that way probably this weekend, right into Michoacan, which is a heavily cartelled up state. And hopefully we'll get out of there with no problems, because we're not going to be driving anything at night. We're going to go do the deal and head out immediately. We're going to get there early. Dean Stevenson. Well, I'm so glad you're not another dinosaur. Overbuilt automotive. The highest speed I ever went in a car was my 88 Supra, 143 miles per hour. I said, no more of this BS. Oh, yeah. There's no reason to do it. Will the Trill. I see you have a 70 El Camino. That El Camino cannot be sold, Will, because it has an LS under the hood. I mean, I can't sell it because the EPA would reject it at the border. It, I can't send anything that has an engine swap in it. Those are the hard and fast rules. Stray Bullet. Have you seen the guys in Dubai with their JDM 6 cylinders? No, I don't watch anything like that. Barracuda. I could do a Gier stall replica. Tanner. Too bad they swapped to that silly LS engine. You can't even sell it across the border. Nope, I can't. Sure can't. I got to take it off my page as a matter of fact. Jeff, my highest speed on the ground was 155. Computer limited the speed to that. I had a Camaro Z28 convertible, and my high speed computer controlled was 106. That's all it would let me do. The Mexican Spectre and Chuck Norris stopped it. The cartels gave up, Stray Bullet? No, they didn't give up. What they were doing was because the head guy got caught and killed, they threw a tantrum. They burned cars in the roads, and they blocked highways and blocked entrances to places. And then they went back to work, and everybody had to clean up after them, and everything was done. Same thing happened here when El Chapo's son got caught for about 36 hours. Things were crazy. They burned a convenience store out on the highway, and everything went back to normal, just like it had been. It's a temper tantrum. That's all it is. They're children. Here, Jake Hiley. I bought an eBay computer for him to modify. Keep the original one just in case. My original one is long gone, or it's the one that's sitting in my backyard. I'm not sure. Actually, I think it's on top of the wagon right now, on top of the Impala. I don't know. Something was wrong with it, and I don't know the why I replaced it. I can't remember. I was the one that did it though. Tanner says the 70 Mustang Coupe looks cool up front, but they ruin the rear windshield area compared to the 69 in the US. The Mexican version looks much better than what we had here. It should be the same. I mean, it is a coupe. It's not the fastback. It's not the sports roof, but it should be the same window. I don't think they made any changes in the body for that.
What did I miss?
Barracuda, the blue car must have been something else. I only got a glimpse. Um, was it a blue? Was it a picture of a blue car? You're just looking at the driver's side of it, Barry. Tell me if it was.
Will the drill team?
Yes, he is.
Don't say it like that. I didn't say hi to him.
Well, then say hi to him.
Hi, Will the Trail from my part. And they say nice 1970 Mustang Coupe.
Uh-huh.
Also, Jeff Hutchins. I don't remember if I said hi to him. I don't think so. The good news about the tantrum being over.
Yeah, Jeff was asking about the Mexico on fire and Mexico in civil war. He was asking about that, and I told him they just threw a tantrum and it was over and got cleaned up and everything's back to normal again.
Regular says, I'm not keen on communists.
Nope.
Who is? Overbell says, Overbell says, they need Jesus instead of that other mess. They are in bed with darkness.
They'll tell you they're religious, but they don't think there's any other way to make money.
Dean says, collectively, they can be quite nasty work for them. Mark says, children with machine guns. Yep.
Yeah, they do recruit very young guys and put them out there for cannon fodder.
Fernando says, how are your viewing hours adding up? Did you get near where you need to?
The lives that we did last week, which were Thursday night we did the test, then Friday we did the burning, and then the 2 Saturday and Sunday. That was 100 hours of watch hours. So we're down. We need 400 more to get where we need to go, to get to, for people to be able to send super chats and whatever else that gives us, and then another 1,000 for the ads. Whatever that means, because nobody watches my video, so it's not like I'm going to be raking in a whole bunch of money.
Daniel says, how much is the 1970 white black stand?
Daniel, I don't have the prices here. I'd have to look it up on my list. If anybody wants a price on anything, send me an email and I can get it to you. It also depends on where you live, because that'll mean if I'm taking it down to Veracruz or we're bringing it up to the border here. It's a different price. Or sometimes if the vehicle's in the middle of the country, like the Ram Charger we're going to get, it would be the same price bringing it up to the border as taking it down south.
Tanner says, looking at the US version of Google, on Google, it seems it's just the version I was looking at in person. I must have been looking at the Mustang Granada Grande and didn't realize it.
Well, the Grande probably had the vinyl top, which changes the way the rear window looks a little bit.
Dean says, Mark never cramps my style.
Maple Leaf.
Barracuda says, yes, Spec.
Okay, that was a 1963 Dodge 330, and that's the only outside picture I have. It had the interior pictures in it. That's a pretty nice car, but there's a nicer car, which is a 64 Plymouth. That was a Dodge. There's a 64 Plymouth Savoy two-door sedan that's in Mexico City. It's been for sale for quite some time. Slant six. I think it has three on the tree. It is as nice as you can get, and that car's for sale also.
Uh, Dean says kids with guns, gorillas. I haven't heard gorillas in so long. Joe Hutchins says communism is great in your family unit. At scale, you run out of other people's money too fast. Look how fast New York City ran out.
Yeah, isn't that funny? The governor is telling the rich people that left to come back and give her money to give to all the poor people.
Dean says bikini girls with machine guns. I got mixed up. Mark. Chevrolet says that one has OHV engine.
Which one?
I don't know. Tanner says I like kids with guns. Good song. Um, no. Steven says make your videos a bit longer.
Well, I only have the videos that I make are just showing the car, so I don't want to put 20 seconds for each picture because people will just click out. I do need to make more videos. The next video I'm going to make is showing all of the cars that I've sold for the past 2 years. You know, explain each one of them and where each one is living right now and all that stuff. So, yeah, because
But you could make several videos out of that.
no,
Like three cars per video.
it needs to be one.
No.
Yeah.
Daniel says let's do a Mexican Spec marathon.
You might get bored really quick, Daniel.
Dean says Daniel Morris says sounds great. Um,
Because I get a lot of people on Facebook. Oh, this is a scam. He's never sold a car, whatever. Oh, sold plenty of them. People don't know it.
I'm gonna have to clean the oven. The chicken juices were overflowing.
Ah, did it cause fire?
No, it was just only a little bit.
Okay.
Overfilled automatic with a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Dean says I do mean party tricks.
Kibutzen. Kibutzen.
Hmm?
Some
What?
Kibitz. Kibitz.
Stop it.
That's one of our words.
Who's sending so many hearts?
What?
Somebody's sending a bunch of hearts. Did you notice?
That was probably overbuilt automotive.
Tribal says they need to do something about the rich people escaping before the communism scheme ever has a chance of succeeding.
Well, she in 2022 or 2023, when people were leaving, she says, good riddance, go to Florida. Now she wants everybody back and to give their money. If you're a patriotic rich person, you will give me your money so I can pay for all of these these programs that we have put in.
Lemmer says I'll never get bored. Jeff Hutchins says girls and guns, definitely the best unless you have a crazy ex.
And you never know they're crazy until they show it.
PJ Kylie says Mrs. Spec, you missed my comment. What?
Mrs.
Where?
Mix.
Mrs. Mix. Wait, where? I don't. Am I on? I'm on all messages. Where?
Can you repeat it, KJ?
PJ Kylie says I bought an eBay computer for him to modify. Keep the original one just in case. That was a while ago. No, I don't. I wasn't here. What then? I don't think so. That one's the only one I have, I think.
Hmm. Was it something for her, KJ? I didn't see it either.
That's the only one I have about the computer. Chevrolet says they don't even know how communism works.
Nope.
Dean says threes and sevens. I don't know what this. You hear that?
There's something out there probably.
Surrender says 700 crying.
I don't think those are tears. Those are like raindrops.
Those are tears, darling. Go for the project. Unless there's a, what do you call the, what do you call the, unless there's an aubergine in front of it, then it's
Oh,
not tears.
never mind. We're not going to talk about that. They probably don't know what that is.
An aubergine. I can't remember the other word for it.
And I'm not going to tell you.
I can't remember it.
Where did Thunderbird go?
Thunderbird.
This car looks so fun to drive. 4-speed manual. I like shifting a car, especially with a floor shift. Every time you come to a stop.
It says, I won't tell Steven Andres either. This is Mexican Spec.
He probably knows what it is.
Jeff Hutchins says, I like it when people vote to raise property taxes because it doesn't affect them because they rent. So ignorant. Just like raising taxes on the rich, it always trickles down to you morons.
Yeah, but no, they raise property taxes and then they put freezes on the rent, so the landlords can't raise the rents. So who's going to pay that? The owner of the building is just going to shut it down and put a for sale sign on it, kick everybody out.
Brother says he's at an international rescue. What did you say, mosquito?
I don't know. I'm trying to read the comments.
Brother says, what was it?
What is? I don't know. Are you like way behind? What are we talking about? There's like 3 conversations. I don't know what we're talking about.
Bones. Ah, the drops. We want to tell Steven Andrews what drops mean.
Oh. We have to get some cars up to Canada, cars and trucks up to Canada. We have to sell to some guys up there so they can sell them.
I have to.
So they can make all the money.
I have the call scheduled for tomorrow. Oh, better be answering me.
Jar says.
That's a not parking lot.
Yeah, I don't know what it is though.
With the red truck?
Yeah. Like they have, the cement to put your wheels on, but they have the rocks in between. It makes it really hard to clean up the oil that the truck is going to leak in between the rocks.
Yeah. Sorry. Dean says, "What is it? Is it and what is it?" Copper Steve says, "I do love the full-size four-door Fords."
Yes, you do, as they were used as cop cars.
Daniel Morris says, "It's a nice ride."
Wouldn't that black 72 Ford look great dressed up like a Streets of San Francisco police car? That's exactly the car they used. The Galaxies.
Straight Bullet asks, six-cylinder?
In what? In the truck? Yes. It's a base model.
Fernando says, I know they're raindrops, but here they're tears.
Oh,
see?
Okay.
See? Pergola says, I think the blue car I was talking about was a Rambler.
Oh, the dark blue one? The really dark blue one? Yeah, that was a Rambler American. Very clean little 2-door sedan.
Dean says, container terminal, Mexican Spec.
We're not using containers.
Triple says, that was a popular way to do a driveway around 100 years ago.
Which means Mexico today.
Oh, yeah. We have an electric parking lot here in this tiny little town.
What does that mean?
The one that goes around like a carousel parking lot. I showed it to you when we went to buy the yogurt ice cream. It's a parking lot where you put your car and the thing goes up like an elevator, and then you put another car
okay.
underneath, and it goes up like an elevator.
Like a vending machine.
Yeah. You guys get it, right? Jeff Hutchins says, you're right, Mrs. Spec, about New York, but here in Oregon, it doesn't work that way. Every time they raise property tax, here the rent goes up, and they still haven't seen the cause and effect. So moronic.
Yeah. I was renting in Ontario, Oregon, and I just paid what they told me to pay. It didn't matter to me if if part of it went to the taxes. Of course it did. How often are they raising the property tax there? It should be, years.
Not a carousel, but the one that goes up, the wheel.
It's like a vending machine. You put the car in there, Carvana had, and it puts it in a parking spot, something like that.
But how do you call the wheel?
It's not a wheel.
Yeah, but it's a wheel.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't put it on the spot. It just keeps it on the plate, and it goes up like a.
So it's only one car at a time.
Yeah.
It has to put it in a spot to come back and get another car.
No, you put it. Like
I'm gonna go get my pills so I don't forget.
How do you call the wheel?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like on the games, like not like a carousel, but like wheel.
Ferris wheel.
A Ferris wheel. Yeah, like a Ferris wheel. That's why I said carousel.
Be right back.
He'll be right back. Yeah, like a Ferris wheel. You're putting my car in there. Well, yeah, I thought it was a dumb idea because we don't have the. Well, I mean, maybe they have batteries, but we do lose power somewhat often, especially when it's raining or like very windy, which we are here very windy. We are like we do have a lot of wind, strong winds here. Um, and we lose power. So not a curse, a casserole. Yeah, the Ferris wheel. Um, so if we lose power, what do you do? Like, how do you get your car out of there? You could have a battery, but like, how strong is it gonna be? Yolanda says that's the same alarm tone on my phone. Oh, look, roasting on a spit. Yeah, kind of. Hold on. Yolanda says Washington is doing their best to mess things up to Jeff. To Jeff. Strawberry says you aren't putting my car in there. And Max Ferris wheel. Bergula says on a casserole. Yolanda says that's the same alarm tone on my phone. So the Dean says roasting on a spit. Ford says vertical wheel. Dr. Go is here.
Oh, hello, Dr. Go.
Dr. Go says in Louisiana, my families use seashells instead of gravel rocks or stones. Sometimes you get broken ones that are sharp and stick in tires. I remember cutting my foot running barefoot across it. Oh, that hurt me. I said it and it hurt me. I literally flinched. Ow.
Dr. Go, did you ever go back and hear the story about my Fury? Or do you want me to tell it?
Ford Rule says thinking ahead, smart. And Dr. Ho says Aladdin. I still.
Bother me, you get unalived. A fly in here now.
Mark says, yeah, about your car, you have to come back tomorrow for it. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying, in this town, we lose power quite often. So what do you do if you park your car in there and you lose power? Like you could have a battery, but
A generator?
a generator.
A generator. There wouldn't be no generator strong enough to power that thing. I don't see why anybody would use it. It's not like we're lacking parking spaces around here.
I mean, now we are with all the, I was gonna say all the Californians, all the people from Culiacan,
Mm.
all the people from Culiacan moving in. Hold on. Jeff Hutchins says to Steven Andrews, yes, Oregon and Washington have been screwed by decades of imported dumb white Californians. Just to specify, I'm pasty white, so I can't say that. Texas is next. So sad. Steven Andrews says, I have seen oyster shells out on the coast used too.
Yeah, the Jeff. When I moved to Oregon, I had Nevada plates on my car, so nobody said anything to me. But I remember seeing uh, bumper stickers that says "Do not Californicate, Oregon." That
That's,
was on the back of people's cars.
that's funny.
Yes,
What I've seen,
that's
uh,
what's happening to other states now, though.
I haven't seen, well, I've seen the seashells and whatnot, but what I've seen recently, well, not recently, but they used to use like 75, 100 years prior the coral and coral stones.
Those are sharp.
They're also very hard.
Yes.
They used to use coral stones instead of stones to build buildings. And there is actually one that they're trying to restore at this moment. It used to be, I think, a small hotel or something, and they're trying to restore it. But they're very, very pretty because they're like the one that looks like brains. You know, the one that
Mm-hmm.
looks for brains. They're really pretty.
Mark,
So
on that thing, there's a lot of things here in this town that you look at it and say, okay, they're never going to get their money back. So that has to be their cleaning money, right? Who's going to pay enough to park their car in that thing to get the money back from designing it and building it and buying the property and everything else? They're never going to. So it's got to be that kind of thing. Read what Dr. Go says.
the four rules is it's a two door.
Yes.
Mark says it might be hydraulics and hydraulics hoses fail a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Go says I still haven't gone back to hear that story, Mr. and Mrs. Peck. Sorry. Only tell the story if you wish, but I will certainly go back and listen for it.
I can tell the story. Just read a couple more comments and then I'll tell the story again.
Well, the Trill says the 1977 AMC Hornet AMX I wanted to buy sold. Aw.
All the good ones sell.
Yeah. Joe Hutchins says, what happens when the electric motor goes crazy, like an overspeed carousel, and all of the cars fly off under the centrifugal force? Yep. Chevrolet says, have you guys ever seen those boat lifts in the UK that only use water as power, no electricity? I've
No.
heard of it, but I've never actually seen it. Dean says Scotland.
Mark says I would drive by it. Okay. Dr. Go.
Bueno, mientras cuentas la historia, yo voy a revisar el pollo.
Dr. Go. I have two carports in my backyard. And in like 2010, the Fury arrived. You know, we moved into this house 2011. I drove her around a little bit and then I backed her into the carport. I backed her straight in. I made sure that, you know, the car was straight in there. The other carport has my 63 Savoy, so they're like next to each other. And that's where she has been since 2011 or 2012, something like that. She's been sitting there. I have the front of the car up on jack stands, and the rear tires are on the ground. That's the way she's been since then because I didn't want the dog peeing on my white wall tires and all that stuff. So like 3 weeks ago, I went out to look at the car, and the car has moved about an inch and a half over towards the left. And I realized that because I have to clean around the car because the dog does stuff back there, and I cleaned around, and I had to turn sideways to walk past the car, which I've never had to do before. I was always just able to walk straight out because there was plenty of room. Now there's not enough room for me to walk past, and I have to turn sideways to walk past her against the wall and the car. And there's a line in the cement because it's the floor is made of cement, and there's got a line, you know, where they had the cement pads, and the car was lined up perfectly with that line, and now the car's about an inch and a half over to the left from that line. But it doesn't look like anybody's touched the the towers, the stands, and it doesn't look like the rear tires moved. I'm just completely stumped as to how the car moved that far over without me touching it, without Mrs. Spec touching it, and nobody else ever comes into the backyard. I have no idea how this happened. I've asked the car and she won't tell me. Now remember, keep in mind that this is a 63 Fury. She's Christine's little sister. She's 5 years younger. She's got the same personality, and that's not an exaggeration because when I was 16, yeah, I think I was 16 or 17, there was this one girl that I liked, and this car did not like her at all. Every time she got in the car would die. We would end up, on the side of the road. And that's not only me remembering that, because when the car got here back then, I called, I sent her a message on Facebook, and I'm like, you remember the car? Oh, the one that always broke down whenever I got into it? Said, yep, that's the car. So, you know, the same thing as in the movie. Now, the car had no problem with her little sister, but she did have a problem with her, and the car was absolutely right. The car was absolutely 100% right about that girl. So I'm glad, the car didn't, she did that. But I have no idea how the car moved. There's no evidence of the car moving, and nobody comes into my backyard. So I'm stumped, completely stumped, how that happened. What? Why'd you close the door? You have a lot of comments to read. But I have no idea how that happened. No clue, and the car's not telling me. Sooner or later, she's going to tell me. Sooner or later, there's going to be some evidence of what happened. But I just can't figure it out. I mean, it's not like just me looking at her, oh, well, maybe I'm mistaken. She wasn't, on the line. But I never had to turn myself sideways to walk past her front fender. And I had done stuff on that side. I sanded down a part of her fender, and I put Vaseline, and I put a piece of plastic on there, and there was plenty of room, to move around and open her left door, get in and everything. That's all changed, and I have no idea why.
Mark says, I will drive right by it, low. Joshua says, Canal Locks. Yes, I have heard of them. Ian says, because Barracuda is closer to the true Scottish. Ian says, the Falkirk wheel is the world's only rotating boat lift, located in central Scotland near Falkirk. Ian says, there is a sandstone quarry here in town. The public pool is built in an old quarry site. Joe Hutchins says, my buddy has no more damn Californians bumper sticker on his old GMC truck. We knew it was coming but couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
When I grew up in Ontario, or my dad ran an automotive machine shop, as
That's where I lived.
as you as you know, Mexicans beg, there were Mexicans everywhere. He said they were by far the hardest working and most honest. If they said they were going to do something, they did.
Yeah, I sold cars to them when I lived there. That's what I was doing.
Tribble says, I knew that someone would be as smart as Josh. Uh, no, it's more like a Ferris wheel. What? Burger says, on holiday once I fell on rock oysters. They really tore me up. Luckily, there was a big box of elastoplast in the house. I used all of them. Tribble says, that's the one, Dean. And Joshua says, now that kind of boat lift I have never heard of before. Burger says, I used to be in the Park Canal drinking team. Dr. God says, okay, now that is a bit spooky.
Yes.
Simon says, no.
If they're here, I haven't seen them. There's only chickens in the backyard.
Dean says, it looks really, really cool. Joe Hutchins says,
Yeah, you already read that.
Ford Roll says, Toyota, what model?
That is a Toyota Corona, and it's here in my town.
Dean says, my mate was in the Muted Ninja drinking team at the Orient and the PI 555 flap drinking team after drinking teams were banned at the starter bars. Dr. Go says, the car must love Mrs. Spec, so when Mrs. Spec walked by, I wanted to get closer to her to show her the car's approval.
Well, the car is registered to her now. I figured when it came in 2010, if anything happens to me, she has to take care of the car, so the car's already registered to her here in Mexico. But I'm completely stumped, Doctor Go.
But
Because if somebody came in the middle of the night and jacked up the car, which they couldn't with my jack because it only goes up so far, it's kind of needs new seals. I would have seen their handprints or something on the jack stands, because they've been under there for years, so they're dirty. Nope, none of that.
Body Carofano says, I moved the Fury to mess with him. Dean says, Mark II Corona.
Yeah.
Pergola says, Oriental Tavern. Mark says, maybe you just put on some weight.
No, no.
Dean says, telekinesis. There is a logical reason for everything.
And I'm waiting for her to tell me what happened.
Jeff says,
She's the only one that knows.
Jeff says, ooh, that J20 is sweet.
I think it's a 2-wheel drive though, Jeff. Kind of like useless.
Dean says, yeah, John and Jean Olorenshaw, seasoned drinkers. Pergola says, wasn't the Oriental pulled down recently? Double says, I'm not sure about the toilet placement on the Volkswagen.
It's probably not permanent. It's not in the floor or anything. It's just there. You could take it outside probably and use it and then clean it and then bring it back in.
What?
That's what I would assume. It was right inside the door of the Volkswagen van, a little toilet.
Dean says, yes, it was epic. Jeff Hutchins says, falling down in Central Oregon lava rock isn't much fun either.
Oh,
the obsidian fields can be deadly. In either, your shoes don't last long.
I can imagine. The lava rock when it cools, no.
Double says, outside Mexican?
Yeah, you take it outside. There's no hole in the floor of the van, I assume, because they're not going to put one right inside the door where you have to deal with that smell all the time. I'm sure you take it out, you use it, you clean it, and you bring it back in to go on to your next location.
The chicken is done, by the way.
Good.
If you want some.
No, I had 2 sandwiches. And I had spaghetti yesterday, which kind of filled me up. Definitely filled me up. Yep, filled me up. This one is a US Spec truck, and I know this truck because it used to live right in front of me here, but I can never get hold of the owner to give me a price on it. Then it ended up 2 hours away, and they did all the work on it, and now it's for sale.
Bargula says, I used to have a beer at lunchtime there when I worked at Miller Studios, and sometimes a steak meal on Friday evenings. Dr. Go says, there was a house near where I grew up that they showed on TV that was called The Portal to Hell. So much freaky stuff was documented that they decided to burn it to the ground. Decades of scary.
Wow.
Trevoli says, if I'm outside already, I'm probably not going to use the toilet.
Well, most females do not want to sit down on the ground when you're out camping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably for them.
Joe Hodgins says, dang, you're right. 2-wheel drive kills it. I should have known it's
too straight.
It's too straight.
Yeah. We didn't have many 4-wheel drive vehicles in Mexico. The Wagoneers and Grand Wagoneers were 4-wheel drive. That was one of the few vehicles, but you could not go to a Chevy dealer and buy a 4-wheel drive truck and drive it off the lot. They just didn't exist. Hardly anybody had 4-wheel drive, and you would think that people would want 4-wheel drive because most of the country in the 60s and 70s was not developed. They didn't have streets down. You had to drive on dirt. When I moved here in '99, the house that I bought, you had to drive in a dirt road to get to the pavement to go to the house. Well, when it rains, you're stuck because there's some idiot in front of you that's going to go slow, and he gets stuck, and then you have to try to steer around him. We had to just plow through that mud to get to the cement because it was quite a ways to get to the turn, and yeah, and then get to the house. But they finally paved there after some years.
Sorry, I was laughing at Tripoli. Females. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they do exist.
And then says, I used to have a beer at lunchtime with steak and chips at the Waterloo before going back to Fisher and Baco. But the 993 health and safety in the workplace changed that.
You followed the rules, Dean.
You.
Really?
Four rule says giant four letters.
Yeah. There's a there's a carry-all. I don't know if it's in this or I published it. It's it's a no, I didn't put it here. It's a 1987 model. And the weird thing about it is it's a four door. It's got two doors on each side, which is the first time I've ever seen one of those because they had to move the gas door behind the rear wheel, which they never did on this is the first one. But since it's not an XLT or anything, it was the bottom of the line Ford. It's got a tailgate. It doesn't have the barn doors. It has a tailgate, and the letters are the full height of the tailgate, FORD, all the way across in white and red. You're gonna know that's a Ford.
Then says triple it. Them that PI 55 up against the wall. It says so on the drum. Jeff Hutchins says triple it in the immortal words of the late great Charlton Heston. All men pee outside.
Well, I'm thinking people sit down, males and females, for other things, which is what that toilet would be used for.
Dr. God says momentum is your best friend when going through slop. Two wheel or four wheel drive.
Right. That's why I plowed through with whatever car I had. Um, Actually, I bought my Durango in November of 2001, so I had that for most of the time. Yeah, you just plow through with the big balloon tires. But there's people driving slow and they get stuck, and then what do I do? I don't care. I'm going.
Bracola says things used to be so much more free and easy. Ian says Mexican, if they won't sell, just chain the rear axle to a power pole. Work that Porkies. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I don't even remember basically
It
what it's
also
about.
worked on American Graffiti. It was in that movie too.
I don't think I've seen that one at all. Chevrolet says Ghetto Navy also removed the rum station. Dr. says I like the wheels and rims on that on my HE4 truck. And Dean says, dang, that's hate Chevrolet. Corporal says hood were added like they do here.
Hmm.
Dean says the grog in barrels save sailors' lives.
They're having a conversation we're not understanding.
I don't
These
know what
these
grog is.
these little Datsuns were all over the place, and people really didn't appreciate them at all. But they're the most dependable things around. But, but this is a very clean for Fairmont wagon. I would probably go with white walls instead of raised white letters, but that's just me.
Ay, qué sueño. What is grog?
He's asking you, Dean.
You don't know what grog is? Ford says stick on Ford. Trevor says I don't know where the ghetto came from.
If there's one thing that Mexicans like, that Chevy brought out a truck called the SS, the 400 SS. It didn't have a 400 under the hood. It was still a 350, but it was a special model with certain um, options and stuff. So somebody made a 350 SS emblem, and those are all over the OBS trucks, all over Mexico, all over. It wasn't a real model, but people put it all over the place. That's real leather in there, guys. Real leather seats in this car.
Mm, Dean says sure. I have to be a model citizen like Barracuda. I'm not having from William making fun of me for being a
Piss pot.
Oh, that's what it means.
Yes.
I kept saying PI 55. Nobody corrected me. Trouble says I meant the Royal Navy. Portugal says, I like those Mercury trucks from the
What's the
1960s
yellow
sold in
stripe up there?
Canada. Huh?
What's the yellow stripe up there? What
Hold on, guys.
happened? Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video. What?
Nothing.
Are we still on, guys?
Yeah, we're on.
Well, tell it to piss off then.
Hold on, guys.
It's telling us there's an error here. Uh-oh. You got rid of this chat.
It's fine. I have it here.
Well, I need to see it. This Thunderbird just popped in. Did you? Okay. More comments are coming. What are we doing? It says error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Excellent. Now it changed. It's just
Okay, we need the chat.
hold on. Yeah.
We're working on things here.
Wait. Where'd you go?
No.
There you go.
Okay, well, I don't
You
know.
want me to catch up?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hold on, Thunderbird. Give me a minute. Hmm.
Does Doctor go?
Dr. Go says, I like those Mercury trucks from the 1960s sold in Canada. Says Mercury on tailgate instead of port.
That's a rare piece.
Serrano says, give me white walls over letters too.
Yeah.
Ford says, signal. Stroller says, no more bracing the mains. Serrano says, GMC's in Mexico? Question mark?
Yes, GMCs, but much later models. Much later models.
Thunderbird says, you had a question for me?
Yeah, what was the border crossing you told me? If the cars land in Long Beach, what border crossing would I be asked? Would they be crossing at? Because I need to write that down so I could ask the transport company how much it would be to take one from A to B.
Okay. Well, he answers.
Don't read Dean's.
Wait a minute. I need to check. Regular says an older guy at Miller's went to the Oriental at morning and afternoon smokers and lunchtimes. Then after work to the Valley Lodge. Go home for tea, then back to the Valley Lodge. Is it drinking? Joe Hutchins says white letters out unless you have mismatched tires. You know, ghetto like me sometimes.
Wait.
What? White letters out unless you have mismatched tires.
I see Steve after Barracuda here. I have Steve. You're on top chat here. Change it up here. I still have Steve there. Oh no, there's Jeff. Okay. If we don't have it on live chat, Jeff, we can't see you. Okay. Jeff says white letters out unless you have mismatched tires. You know, ghetto. Yeah, but on a white Fairmont station wagon.
Durando says the bird is back. Max says working fine here. Sobrego says no sound right now. Yeah, we had like a small issue. Joel says it buffered here for a few seconds. Everything is fine.
We have the error back on now. It went away.
Ford says
I don't know.
it glitched for 10 seconds. Mark says I have sound here as well. Jennifer says fine to me. Dean says like a progressive dinner barracuda. Or I can never.
Diner.
I can never tell from between dinner and diner.
Dinner is two N's.
Steven says no issues here. Jeff Hutchins says go here. Dynamortis says what? Um Johannes is good here. Number says, yes, you're on live here in California, crystal clear. So it says,
Okay.
isn't that normal for YouTube lately? Paco Alfa says, no hay problema, todo funciona bien. Audio, video, todo bien, todo bien.
Gracias.
Thunderbird says, any of the border towns between Alberta and Montana would be ideal.
I have to give him a specific one to get a price. I can't just tell him the border because he won't know which one. Do you have the name of a border crossing that he could look up?
Mark says, what the heck are the hoops on the seats of that Valiant?
I don't know. I missed it. We were dealing with a problem.
Steven says, I think he needs a specific port entry, Tibert. Yes,
Yeah, because
thank
I
you.
need to get a price from A to B.
Thunderbird says, but if it's coming from Long Beach, actually probably the BC and Washington state border would be cheaper.
Yeah. Does it have a name?
Dean says that Valiant would have been so good with a 360 turbo like the Bristol Viewfighter had. It's such a cool looking car. Thunderbird says, uh, dinner because you want two servings, diner because it's one course.
That's the same thing as dessert and desert. Dessert because you want two desserts, and desert because you do not want two deserts.
But why will the diner be one course?
Because they just they give you all the food at one time and you eat it.
Oh, thank you, Thunderbird. Joe Hutchins says, I didn't have any laps at all, YouTube stuff. So it says, the airplane did?
Okay, so I'll go from Long Beach to border Washington and BC. The border of Vancouver and Vancouver.
Andrew says, Blaine is the major crossing to Vancouver, BC.
Is it Blaine? The Blaine crossing. Guy hasn't even given me a price for a client, but then I don't have a truck to sell the client, so I'm not too worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
When we were looking at sold, it was a really, really cheap manual Ram Charger that needed just about everything. But hard to tell if he's serious.
Horses and diner is the building too. Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah,
What else is diner then?
it's where you eat the food.
Yeah, diner is the building.
Uh-huh.
What else is diner?
Nothing. But Thunderbird was saying that in the diner you only get one course in the meal.
Mm. This says dinner in the diner. Nothing could be finer. What? Thunderbird says Cartaway, Alberta border is one of them between Montana and Alberta. Vincent Tom's Diner. Yeah, I know that song. I like it. You know Tom's Diner song?
No,
You don't?
no.
It's a very basic
Is there a
song.
bunch of dolls in it?
I mean, I think so.
Looks like it.
So it's just a diner is the same as a cafe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always have problems spelling diner or dinner.
Now you know. Now you have that in your head, and you can't forget.
So this is or even a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. This is a kind of weird carry-all because there's an air conditioning. I don't know what you call it, but there's air vents up above the rear door, but there's no air in the front of the truck. So the air would come on and blow cold air from the back of the truck forward. Kind of weird. Decent interior though.
Mark says now just had a brief looping of the video and it's still good now.
It's telling us there's an error again, so we will just ignore it.
The only other thing that I could do is hook it up to the but no, but it's too far away. to the
No, no reason for it.
because we're on Wi-Fi right now.
That's fine. We're all right here within a room of each other, so the problem is on YouTube side. It's not on our side. Yeah, Steve, and I've been up to that border. We've a friend and I crossed into Canada, did a few things there, but then we came back to Washington. So I remember that. We didn't take a vehicle in though. We left it at the hotel.
So this is better than nothing, I guess. Like the girl says, I always enjoy your live streams, so I hate to go, but I have to work early in the morning. Take care, and thanks for telling me crazy car stories. Good night, and take care, Mr. and Mrs. Spec.
Good night, Doctor Go.
Thank you for being
Thanks for
here.
coming.
Margaret says, damn, now I've got that song in my head.
Just from him writing it?
Oh,
stop it.
That's the song. I'm gonna play it for you afterwards. Thunderbird says, for me, if the price is similar, Cartway, Alberta would be a good border town. About 5 hours from me. BC, specifically Vancouver, is much farther. So if the transport company doesn't charge too much, Cartway.
Okay, then I'll get a price for both of them. But you're gonna have to meet him on the U.S. side. So there's gonna be some logistics involved in that because he's not just gonna drop the car and leave it to nobody there. He's not gonna be able to do that unless you know somebody on the American side.
He says my job is done.
Are you right in the middle of the country, Thunderbird?
Josh Thomas is not on our end. Surrender says a small pause, maybe a half a second. Nobody says it's just buffering for a couple of seconds, no big deal.
Is it buffering here?
Whatever just piece out of the no, not that I can see, but I'm not paying attention to the video though. So I'm not sure. Jeff Hutchins says maybe someday I'll get a second gen Ram Charger that's mechanically shot. I want to Cummins 1 ton 4-wheel drive swap it anyway. However, transporting a non-op is probably a logistic nightmare though.
We can't do it. It has to drive across.
Could it be in a container?
You could get. Where do you live, Jeff? In what state do you live?
Hercules is the Chattanooga Choo Choo song. I don't know that one.
Because we could get, a base model that's got the 5.2 in it, and there's a lot of them that go pretty cheap. I mean, not cheap because with all the transport and everything, because it's got to cover thousands of miles to get to you, but to do one of those.
Mark Subway says, I never knew what the name of that song was. Well, Dean says, your workahol is ruining your viewing pleasure. Well, you must go, doctor. Thunderbird says, if it's cheaper to go through Blaine, that's probably best. But say hypothetically it's another 500 to 1,000 to go Alberta, that would probably be worth it.
Okay, but are you right in the middle of the country? Because if you are, then we could send it to Florida and the transport company can pick it up there and bring it up to the New York, right where Fun with Cars lives, where Jay is there. He's right at the border there. And the car can be dropped off with him and you can pick it up from him. I don't know if that's farther for you, but he's a safe place to leave it with on the US side. And from Florida up to New York, it'll probably be $1,200 to get it there because he gave me a price of $1,000 to Pennsylvania. That's right. You're in Oregon. Why did I even have to ask?
Jeff Hutchins is singing the song.
So then it would be crossed at the Arizona border here, unless we do we're trying to get the transportation set up, the shipping on the West Coast, but it's not going too well.
Yeah, I have calls to make tomorrow to find out more about that. Thunderbird says, okay, that's interesting now that you mention it. If he has to leave it on the US, then can you ask for pricing to Harvey, North Dakota?
Do you have a zip code there? Or should I just look it up? Because he's going to ask me for a zip code.
My ear is hurting.
But that's an option from Florida to, because it's going to be in really good condition because it has to get into Canada, we're going to make sure that the truck or whatever it is really nice and in really good condition because it has to pass a safety inspection there, I believe. And they're not going to say, oh, it's a Mexican car, it's not going to pass anything. We have to make sure that we send it in really nice condition.
It's so nice to see you.
Although, there's a whole bunch of extra transport if we bring it here. I'm going to try to get the vehicles around this area for you, so we don't have, it's not we're going far, then we have to transport it back to our house, which is more money, and then do all the repairs here, and then take it 1,000 miles down to Veracruz, and then send it off there. So
And this says 58341.
thank you, Stephen Andrews. So then, I want to keep all the expenses as low as I can. We're trying to get set up with transport out of Mazatlan here, which is 4 hours from me. I would drive it down there and put it on the ship there, and then they drop it off in Long Beach. And it would be the same company that we're using now for the other side of the country, but the ships don't come every month like they do regularly on the other side because they don't have a lot of business on this side.
The number says no, I'm significantly closer to the west coast, but they could bring it from Florida to North Dakota. I don't have a zip code handy, unfortunately.
Steven already gave it to me, so I'll use that. Or I can get prices for all three
Let's see my words
and
today.
see what happens.
When I don't want you to be a rooster today.
They can't see me.
I don't care. I can see you.
Yeah, I got the zip code, so that's all he needs. Have you been thinking about what kind of vehicles would sell up there? What is really hot up there right now? Trucks. We don't have four-wheel drives, really.
Mm,
You want the Ford Carryall. This is a Dodge Carryall, but there's nothing in the back. It's a cargo truck.
the number says looks like anything older than 15 years does not require the import inspection according to the government rules.
Oh, okay. That's good. We can still do all the work here much cheaper.
Full rule says camper shell.
No, it's built like this.
Guys,
this is the way it was built for.
Guys, you know what I just saw on TikTok the other day? I was showing Mr. Mexican Spec. I saw a bus that was like cut and it was like shrunk and it was literally like 3 rows, like the front seat, like the driver's seat, and like 2 more rows, and that's it. So yeah, it was like the size, like the length of that truck that you're seeing right now.
Like the short bus, it was about 1/3 of a short bus.
Yeah, it was super short.
I couldn't even imagine driving it with the way the wheelbase is on that.
Or maybe it was just the body that was cut and it was on a different wheelbase of a truck. I don't know.
Well, no, when they cut it, they cut the chassis and everything, and they put everything together. It's like, have you seen the Volkswagen vans that are cut in half? They put the two halves together, making it really short. It looked like that.
It was really funny. Thunder says, thanks, Steven. Jeff Hutchins says, an Oregon port would be easy for me. It's in the future anyway. So maybe West Coast transportation will be sorted by then?
I'm not even sure about that because we haven't found anybody that lands at an Oregon port there. What we might do is contact the ports there, and maybe they can tell us who comes there, what shipping companies work out of there.
Cop Car Steve is leaving.
Goodbye, Cop Car Steve.
He says,
thanks for coming.
He said, peace out, brothers.
Take care.
Bye, Cop Car Steve. Fernando says, Harvey is still like good 55 minutes from the border, though. Kim says, the shrunken sled.
This Dodge Carryall is interesting because it was a special order truck. The majority of these, when they were bought, were slant sixes. This is a 360 under the hood with a 4-speed manual. The guy that owns it now Those are Ford tail lights. Those are Ford truck tail lights. I thought they were swept line, but they're not. Swept line. They're not. Um, this one was ordered this way. Supposedly they used it for delivering clothing or selling clothing out of it or something. That's why it's a cargo, but it's a long wheelbase. Um, but the V8 engine is what gives it its value.
Joe Hutchins says, I have 75 and 85 Ram Chargers already, so a second gen will be cool.
Yeah.
Thunderbird says, I think the cars will sell the best coupes of any kind. I don't know if the carryalls would sell or not, but any 50s to 80s cars would probably sell fast, and also pickup trucks, probably also anything Volkswagen.
I do have people contacting me for Beetles up there, but I don't know.
Thunderbird says, I have family in Harvey.
Oh, okay. Okay, then it can be delivered to them. It would be on a three car transport, so it's not a huge, it's not an 8 or a 10 transport, so it can pull into a neighborhood fairly easily.
Chevrolet says, Dodge stopped making delivery pickup trucks in the early 60s.
Yeah, this one was made out of a pickup truck in Mexico, just like the Ford Carryalls, and somebody ordered it just like that with the V8 in it, with the 360, with the 4 speed. It's got the guy that has it now has kept it really nice or made it really nice because it is a nice. It does have a scratch in one of in the on the paint. I think it's on the right side, but that's about the only thing you can really see that the thing needs.
Right. Barcola says, cool, Jeff. I particularly like the 75 model, 318 in that.
Question mark.
318 in that? Sorry. Steven Andrew says, Aberdeen, Washington
Mm-hmm.
is a port that handles vehicles. I see auto carries on the trains that run out there quite often. Ford says, Thunderbird, I saw the 429 T-Bird guy just stored it buy it, too busy to touch it, sorry.
Hopefully, somebody will buy that T-Bird Ford that really knows what it is and can get it back into condition.
Thunderbird says, so Steven, I guess I would need to verify whether or not a certain port will allow vehicles through.
We're going to need to find a customs agent at that port,
Yeah,
Thunderbird, if we deliver to a port, because they have to handle whatever documentation for the vehicle to come in. And if there's any taxes or whatever that you would be dealing with them, you pay them and they pay the government. And then the documents they give you, assuming it's the same as the United States, the documents they give you is what you need to register the vehicle with the ownership documents from here.
yeah.
If it comes into a U.S. port, you don't need anything because you're not importing it into the United States.
The customs agent will be able to answer that question if vehicles can come in.
Yeah, but you need to ask what is the process of bringing them in through the land border because it would be different than at the port.
Steve Hutchins says Barracuda 75 is full removable roof, built for 40 to 70 to 7, short shaft, divorced NP, 205, Dana 70 rear, Dana 60 front,
88
488
years.
gears. Federer says, I would work on another T-Bird someday, but probably not anytime soon. Coral says he paid too little for it.
The only thing I would do with a 68 T-Bird is play with the headlights, put the turn signals on, stand behind the car and watch them flash, turn on the hazard lights to see which I don't remember if it's just the middle turn signal bulb or it's all three that flash at the same time.
You do love your lights.
Huh?
You do love your lights.
Oh yeah.
We did have a fight about it one time.
What? What was the fight?
You were touching somebody's headlights
Tail light,
in
tail
the
lights.
somebody's tail lights
Yep.
in the
You
car
got? Do
show.
you guys know what the '54 Buick tail lights look like? As I was standing there talking to the owner, I was caressing the tail lights on the guy's '54 Buick, and Mrs. Spec got jealous.
What the fuck are you doing? Why are you touching it like that? Regular sounds stout. Stout is short, right?
No, stout is very strong.
Oh,
Short is short.
okay. I was just going by the song.
Stop thinking about songs.
That's what
We're in the real
That's what
world.
I know the words from. How do you know your English from? The number says my experience. However, it's been a while. The Esteban, Saskatchewan,
Saskatchewan.
North Dakota border is pretty chill.
Yeah, well, you still have to comply with all the rules and everything, you
Yeah.
know. So, because that's you're going to need the documents to get your plate and your ownership document in Canada. Because you
Mm-hmm.
do not want a vehicle like a lot of people bring Mexican vehicles into the U.S. and then put them up for sale, but they never did it correctly. So they're just handing over the Mexican paperwork, and there's nothing you can do with the vehicle.
Believe says you'd have fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes the T-bird away.
Very different T-Bird, believe. That
Jeff,
was much smaller.
Jeff Roman says not off the bat. Thunderbird says the turn signals are very cool on the Thunderbirds.
Yep, I remember mine.
Believe says they say birds of a feather flock together, but do you know which birds really stick together? Velcros.
Of course. They can't fly like that, though.
Fernando says my parents took their honeymoon in his '54 Roadmaster. I understood.
Yeah, then you know.
Maricela says they didn't come with a 440, did they? Although wasn't there a version called Power Wagon with a 440?
I don't think the Ram Chargers came with the 440. You couldn't get a big block in a Ram Charger.
Hey, hey,
No.
no, you're gonna be facing.
Mosquito keeps buzzing me. What?
Thank you.
I'm not gonna hit the microphone.
I'll interview you. How have you been today?
Are you gonna be Nick Shirley?
Huh?
You're gonna shove the microphone in my face? I am tired.
Who's Shirley?
Nick Shirley.
Who's Nick Shirley? Triple says my Thunderbird just had regular taillights, but it was really a fox body in disguise.
What year was your Thunderbird? 1980, 81, 82, 83,
Jeff,
88.
Jeff Hutchins says Barracuda. It was a 360 7 to 7 swapped the drivetrain out of a 75 extra duty W300 with a 4-speed divorce NP 205. Swap that out for the short shaft 4-wheel drive 7 to 7. Build the 440 to 600 horsepower and swapped in.
That thing must move.
The number says, so can the transport company drop off a vehicle in the US without it technically landing, or would it land in the US and then cross into Canada?
It will never be imported into the U.S. It's just crossing the U.S. to get to the Canadian border. The transport company can drop it off at your. I need the microphone.
Ah,
The transport company can drop it off at your relative's house, but in this case, we're gonna have to make sure that it has current Mexican license plates on it, so you don't have to get a temporary registration or anything, and you can just drive on the Mexican plates and just drive it to the border. We'll make sure it's current, and it's in one of our names, so we sign over the bill of sale to you.
Barracuda says, does it sling mud? Chevrolet says 83.
83. Yep. First year for the round one. I knew the first Fox Body Thunderbird wasn't that great when I was working for the first dealer I ever worked for. I had just gotten my driver's license. I was 16 years old, and we went to this guy's. It was another dealer, and he had, I think the car was one. He started it up, and it had automatic headlights, and the headlights came on, but no other lights. The headlight covers came up, the headlights came on, no parking lights, no marker lights, nothing. That's the kind of electrical system that they had when they were new, and they don't get better with time.
Jeff Hutchins says, Barracuda, you could get a 440, but the drivetrain would still be a half ton otherwise. Up through 78, you could get big block half tons or Ram Chargers. Oh, my eyes are hurting.
Are you sure they put the big block in the Ram Chargers? I don't remember they're doing that.
Steven Andrews says, sadly, he had kids and had to get rid of the Buick before I was born, but did replace it with a 57 Chevy.
Wasn't the Roadmaster a bigger car? Had more room inside than a 57 Chevy?
Chevrolet says, we're going to need a transport across America tariff for that.
Right now, there's no tariffs. The customs agent just told me that there are no tariffs on anything because it falls under the new NAFTA or whatever, which it should have before. So there's no tariffs on anybody buying vehicles from me. I should make that a point right now. Get in while the getting's good.
Sorry, can you keep going? My eyes are hurting.
We just want to make sure we know how the U.S. is, Thunderbird. Oh, you don't have a plate. We're gonna, whatever. No, the card's gonna have current license plates. It's gonna have your registration card, everything. We got on the last Ram Charger. We got a set of license plates. It cost, I don't know, it costs like $500 or whatever because it had this truck did not have a good history, so we just ordered a set of license plates. The registration comes in, and the registration says expires. It expired in 2031, so there was 5 years of registration on that one registration card. So nobody could argue that the truck was expired or anything. Way up to date.
Fernando says the boxy Fox body T-Bird makes a great sleeper.
Yeah, but it has a lot of electrical problems, Steve.
The number says, okay, awesome. There's a good chance I would trailer it. Barracuda says, I bet the MPG is nothing to write home about. Question mark? Chevrolet says, mine was an 83 half
and a half,
actually. And a half, technically.
Oh, by the way, Mrs. Spec, if you say 727 like that, you might get Sherry angry. She knows her transmission is a 727, not a 727.
¿Y qué tiene?
It's her transmission.
¿Y qué tiene?
It has to be a 727.
Ay, déjenme en paz. Son muchos números.
Torque Flight 727.
No, son muchos números. Chevrolet says, we still want our tariffs.
No, you don't. Because you're paying the bill for it.
Steven Andrews says, yes, but the Chevy had a 6 with 3 speed easier on gas.
Oh, okay. So he traded way down.
Jeff Hutchins says, Barracuda, I have a 38.5 times 11 boogers on it. It throws 4 inches to times 1.5 inches mid costs. Way up. My 85 was a mildly built 360 and stock drivetrain.
Is that one a 4-wheel drive too, Jeff?
The number says, wow, that's good. That's good to hear about the tariffs that are going up right now.
Yeah, the Supreme Court invalidated them, and Trump says, "Oh, we're gonna put 15% across the board every country," but he's been busy with something else right now. So there is no tariffs right now, so there's nothing to worry about. Because my previous customers, like Lester LeSaver, paid 25% on his to get it into the country legally.
Jeff Hutchins says, yeah, Ram Chargers are known as the only stock big block two-door SUVs.
Really?
Steve says, there was a time I would hear 727 and think of Florida.
You did it again.
Chevrolet says, mine was
I'm telling Sherry. I'm telling Sherry.
Dile? Me vale.
I never... You can talk generations all you want to, Stray Bullet. I know nothing about generations, and people that talk about it just get on my nerves. I know your make and model, then I know what the vehicle is. I'm not going to count back generations. Okay, well, number 1 was the 2 doors. Number 2 was the 60 to 60, was the 58 to 60. No, I'm not going to do that. I just need to know your make and model, and I know exactly what the vehicle is.
Jeff Hutchins is very good at the fuel tank is too small. I don't want to know the MPG. Off road, I think it gets gallons per mile.
Well, put a fuel cell behind the rear seat. That'll work.
Miranda says, yes, that was a Buick guy. Had a 48, a 50, and 54, but kids are expensive. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. This friend of mine that he sold me my first hearse, and then we became friends. I was like 18 years old, and he was in his 30s or whatever, 40s. Um, when we would go somewhere because he liked to drink wine in his little drink thing, I would drive his 1950 Buick Riviera Roadmaster, and he would be in the passenger seat. And what a beautiful driving car that was! Black, of course, and Dynaflow, and all of that. Just absolutely, it was a 51. Sorry, it was a 51, not a 50. It didn't have the big giant grill on it, which I would have liked. But unfortunately, he sold it to some younger guy, and not soon after that, the guy hit a telephone pole with it and totally destroyed the car. But this was in 85, 86, where the car was already, what, 35 years old, 34 years old. But what a beautiful driving car that was. Man, it's a
But
shame it was destroyed.
Believe says, my satellite had a 904. Chevrolet
Okay,
says,
that one you can say 904.
Chevrolet says it was the round Thunderbird.
Yep.
Pericola says, was the Power Wagon the truck version or not, and not the Ram Charger?
The Power Wagon was the truck, the open bed pickup.
Jeff Hutchins says, Spec, you can call mine 727. I don't care.
Yes,
See?
but the Fury's gonna get pissed.
I don't care.
She knows
How
what
do you know?
she knows what her I know her. She knows what her transmission is.
Mm-hmm. Whatever says cutting in and out now.
We keep getting that error with the yellow thing, and then it goes away. So I don't know what it's actually happened.
Jeff Hutchins says, yes, my 85 round charger and 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive Ram Chargers are much rarer in the US.
Well, how many do you want? Because they're all 2-wheel drives here. Well, not all. I'd say 98% or even more. Because every once in a while I run across a 4-wheel drive that actually came from the factory. Right now, 2 hours from me, there's a 1986, I think, 85, 80. It's like the Carryall, but it's a regular cab short bed D250, which here means it has a V8 under the hood and factory 4-wheel drive. And I know it's from here because he posted the original invoice on the ad that shows that it was originally sold in Mazatlan, new, and all the options that it came with it and everything. So I know it's an original 4-wheel drive truck. It's really nice, dark red.
Rebel says, it's weird that there are so many generations of Thunderbirds and they don't make it anymore. Corvette is only on its 8th generation.
Yeah, that's because they made the same Corvette for a long, long time. I mean, 1968 to 1982. That is a long time. That covered the whole 70s. Just one car without changing much of it.
Thunderbird says, maybe it was just on my end.
No, it just came back. So you may see a little thing. It's telling us there's an error or something, which we've never seen before.
Jeff Hodges says, yes, Power Wagon is a truck. Plymouth had Ram Chargers too, but they were trail dusters.
I had one of those when I was in Ontario, Oregon. A guy traded it in to me for whatever I sold him. And I don't know, I was able to sell it. The whole roof came off of it. It was the 70s. But when you're just one person, you don't take the roof off. It needs the whole city to take the roof off.
Jeff Hutchins says, my feed has been perfect here, no issues.
Well, it's weird. I don't know what the error, what they're saying, the error is, but weird.
Jeff Hutchins, okay, I get rid of that.
Thunderbird. I wonder if the liquid-cooled Volkswagen vans would sell up in your area because it's liquid-cooled. It would have a really good heater. The heater would work really good because it's working off the heat from the engine. I wonder if anybody would buy one up there, like this red one.
Thunderbird says, well, I better get to bed. Day job is calling on.
Okay, Thunderbird. We'll be talking soon. We're still trying to get stuff set up. I'll get the information on this and I'll send you an email. But it shouldn't be too much. I mean, it's not going to be thousands of dollars to get a vehicle up there.
Thank you for being here. Joshua says those seats look as if they're propped up on cardboard boxes.
They could be, considering it's a Volkswagen van.
Jeff Hutchins says two-wheel drive Blazers are rare here too, and big money. Doesn't seem to be the market for two-wheel drive Ram Chargers, but there aren't many to go around up here anyway.
Yeah, and people here, we had the Ram Charger here until 1996, and they had the Limited, which had the leather and the gamusa, the suede or velour or whatever inserts, just like the second gen Ram Chargers, where the top of the line truck had the leather with the suede inserts and stuff. But people are not selling them cheap here unless there's one that you have to do a bunch of work to, which I'm not opposed to. We have a paint shop here. We have upholstery. We could make it just as nice as it came out of the factory. So.
Jennifer says, yeah, I'm sure they would. Margaret says, for slinging mid, a friend had an 84 Jimmy and a 400 with a 400 automatic lift kit, big tires on four-wheel drive outings. It was clearly superior to all the Land Rovers and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
you can't beat the Chevrolet V8. There's a K5 Blazer that's in Veracruz, which is where our port is. And I had a guy ask me about it because it's a 1978 model and he's not asking, huge money for it. So I contacted the guy, and actually I have to get back in contact with him because this was in like December. And he says, oh, I'm working, outside of the state. I'm not going to be back till January because, the guy may still want it, but it's a 78 K5 Blazer in really good running condition and pretty decent cosmetically too. And it's got to be worth a lot more than the asking price here. Four-wheel drive works. That's the first thing I asked.
Jeff Hutchins says, if I was into Volkswagens, buses/vans, I prefer the liquid cooled.
Oh yeah, it keeps up with traffic with no trouble. It has the Volkswagen Golf engine in it, the 1.8 liter, which means there's parts everywhere. You just replace the timing belt every once in a while, and it'll just keep running. And then you have your option if you want to add air conditioning. You want to add air conditioning to it. I'm sure there's a system that can be put in it, front and rear, because the engine will power it no problem. I have not driven one yet, and I would love to drive one, but I have to wait until a customer buys one before I'm able to drive it. So, because I had one sold, and then all of a sudden the guy just says, nope, don't want to do business, and just won't tell me why. But we had the perfect van for him. It was a good price. It had a sink in it. It had a refrigerator in it. It had a sofa bed in it. It was really nice. But all of a sudden, nope, don't want to. It's crazy.
Chevrolet says people actually convert four-wheel drive Blazers to two-wheel drive.
Well, there's a lot of four-wheel drive Blazers out there. I wonder what year they stopped making the two-wheel drive, because in '87 when I was working at Chevy, that was not even an option. You did not have an option for a two-wheel drive Blazer K5. Nope. 87 or 88. I think we had a dark blue one on the lot. That was the owner's son's demo. We didn't get a whole lot of them, the K5s. We got some Suburbans. But when in March of '87, when the OBS trucks started coming in as '88 models, they flooded the lot. We were bringing in the square bodies too, but only with the 3/4 ton and 1 ton chassis, the 3+3s and all of that. But it was kind of weird to be on the lot, and because the square body was from 1973, and I'm there in '87. And there's still brand new square bodies coming on the lot when I first started working there. It was really weird to see them brand new with nobody had touched them yet.
Jeff Hutchins says, are there many/any Volkswagen diesels down there?
No diesels. In Mexico, one plant made Volkswagens in Toluca. No, in Puebla. They used one engine, like every air cooled Volkswagen that was made in there, whether it's van, Beetle, Brasilia, anything, had the same Type 1 engine. When they went to the liquid cooled in the van, they took it from the Golf, which was already being made there. They just took the engine that they already had and found a way to fit it into the van and run all the coolant lines and everything, put the grill on the front and put the radiator in the front and put the grill in there and everything. So they didn't reinvent the wheel. They any liquid cooled, it was the same engine. The Volkswagen Corsair here, which was the Quantum over there, in the US it had a 5-cylinder engine, which was an Audi engine, and here they took the engine from the they took the engine from the either Caribe or the Gulf.
Sorry, the cat wants to come in. You're late. But you're late.
And they put that in that car, even though it had a 5-cylinder in the US, it had a 4-cylinder in Mexico because that's the engine they happen to have sitting there.
What do you have to say for your lateness?
He's microphone shy. Well, just get some cold water out of the refrigerator, Barracuda. That's what I'm drinking here, cold water, because I'm sweating. Jeff says, yes, they do convert K5 Blazers to two-wheel drive here. I don't get it, except for people wanting them for some reason and paying twice as much. Well, they want to lower them. They want to do all that stuff, which is the fad now. You know, they drop it to the ground. They put the kind of suspension on it so you can raise it and lower it and everything. Just they spend all that money, and for what? Stephen Andrews, what cooling would you prefer, Barracuda? Ford says, good night, Mr. and Mrs. Are you leaving? You leaving, Ford?
Goodbye, Ford.
This car here is in Mazatlan. 93 with factory air conditioning.
Aw, he doesn't meow when the microphone's closer.
She had a bunch of food and didn't give you any. What do you think about that? I know, I didn't either, but still. Stray Bullet, in the 80s, we would have thought it was ridiculous to have a two-wheel drive Blazer. Yeah, but unfortunately, the trends are going that way. People want to lower everything, put the stupid suspension on them, bounce them, and all of that. Just they don't think of long term because all of that is going to deteriorate. And just look at the new cars that have that, the Land Rovers and Jaguars and all that stuff. Mercedes, they don't last that long before you need to put tens of thousands of dollars into them.
Yeah, Horribles is leaving.
Good night, Ford.
Barracuda says the differentials on that Jimmy were a weak point, though.
I never did off-road stuff. I never did racing, so all my cars were good with what they had. So I don't know what the weak points were on four-wheel drives or on cars, race cars or anything. No, chicken's mine. When I have my chicken, when I'm served my chicken, I cut 2 pieces, one for this cat, one for the other cat. If I'm feeling generous, I'll cut 2 more for the other cat and the dog. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Hope not. No, not him, the dog. So he gets his chicken when I have it. They don't eat until I eat first. Believe in yourself. I'm headed to bed now. Thanks for the stream. Good night, believe in yourself.
Good night, believe.
Take care up there. Barracuda. I'd like a spiced Canadian club with ice, but I've only got beer. You don't have water? Water's good.
Isn't Canadian Club like sprinkle water? What do you call it? The
carbonated water.
Carbonated water.
Yes, he does want chicken, Steven, but he ain't getting none. He has his bowl full of food. Well, he has his bowl. I don't know if there's any food in it anymore, but I put food in the morning. They can eat all day long. They're free feeding. They're free feeding animals. The other cat's outside the door right now, looking at us.
Joe Hutchins says the GM 10 Bolt has a bad reputation, but I haven't had bad luck with them. In the front end, they are basically a Dana 44. Many parts even interchange.
Pollo.
Pollo.
Yes, pollo. We have live pollos running around outside. The neighbor has a bunch of them, and he just lets them loose. He doesn't have them in cages or anything. So they're up in my trees. They're messing up my backyard. They scratched the paint all over my Durango. Now they're scratching the paint on my AMC Spirit.
What is that? Is that me?
They jump up in the tree. I don't think so. Maybe the dog's outside.
You whistle right on the microphone.
Oh.
Oh, they're
doing something
like
outside.
fireworks or something like that. Yeah. Or yeah, there's some kind of noise outside. Oh, sorry.
We're gonna have some good leaves to burn next time because the leaves are falling off the
explosions.
Hopefully that's fireworks.
Yeah, they're fireworks. It's the weekend. They usually do baseball.
The leaves are falling off the mango tree, and they're huge. And when they dry out, they burn really well. Really, really well.
It's baseball season, so they're every time the game ends, they do fireworks and stuff.
They don't play baseball around here, do they?
Yes.
Where?
En el día.
Really?
Sí.
I'll have to play it over there.
Acá también.
Jeff Hutchins. Yeah, when they tout the futuristic features, I just think that's going to be a nightmare down the road. Many high-end cars have been mechanically totaled by that fancy crap. I don't believe mechanically totaled is a thing. And you can sell it to somebody that'll fix it themselves or whatever. The dealership puts a $5,000 price on doing something that doesn't mean that's what it actually costs. You can get junkyard parts. They need to stop that. We're doing a live here. Stop it!
You're yelling on the microphone. It's okay.
Kind of hard to sell these little cars to anybody because the price comes out pretty high with the transportation and the sending it to Florida and all that stuff. Volkswagen Pointer. Little black car, and I don't think they sold a black one here, so it's probably been painted. It was probably gray. Didn't they have a dark gray on this car?
No sé, cariño.
I think they did.
¿Qué carro
see the gray? A Pointer.
Sí.
There was a lot of dark gray ones.
Bargudo says on one outing, he blew the rear differential and slashed a sidewall. He was in a bit of a mood after that.
He still had the front differential to drive on, so it wasn't that bad.
On one of our outings, we blew 2 tires.
Yep.
Which was fun because we only had one spare. One spare.
On my Durango. Yeah. And of course it was the worst possible time. Hey, let's go to the river. We get Mrs. Spec, her sister, my big black dog.
Your son?
My son?
Yes.
My son was with us. He was very young. And me, and we take off. We're out on the highway. It blew on the way, right?
On the way.
It blew on the way to the river. I was able to get off to the side and take the spare off, put the spare on. We went down to which is the first time I've ever done that. Went down to the river, did whatever we did there for the whole day. Come back around. We come up onto the highway, get onto the other side, start going. Another tire blows right there. So I have to pull over to the right. Happened to be in front of is it the Army? The Army base there?
I think it was the Navy base.
The Navy? Yeah, they have a base right out on the highway. So I pulled over because I have a flat tire, and the guy comes out and says, "No, you can't be here." So I had to drive the truck a little bit farther. It took hours for a tow truck to show up. Luckily, I had friends. Yes, we were out there until dark.
Yeah, but I don't remember him asking us to move. But he's like, "You can't be here." And I was like, "We can't move. We have a blown tire." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh well, whatever. So luckily, I had friends in town, and I called this guy. He owned a tire shop, and I was able to bring the truck over to his place, and he put 4 new tires on it. This was on a Sunday night, late, So he came and opened up the shop and did it for us.
It was Fernando, right? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't Gustavo at the
No, it was
time. It
Fernando.
was Fernando at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
At the time, yeah. I think I'm on my third set of tires on this truck,
I think so.
and I've had the truck for 25 years. Yeah, my third set of tires.
Joe Hutchins says, I blew up a rear Dana 44 in my international travel all, but it was my fault. It was a full floater GM 14 bolt. Now, that's hard to break. Not impossible though.
Did you downshift like you shouldn't have or something?
It was really hot that day, and we couldn't stay inside the truck while this was happening because it was right in the sun.
And
So
I had my black dog there with us.
yeah, so we
It
had
wasn't just
to
us.
so we had to be on the edge of the like by on the edge of the highway as far away as we could. But we had a child, which was like 6 at the time, and a dog on a leash, and we had to be very careful of like oncoming traffic that nothing like no accidents were
Yeah,
happening.
it's the highway that connects us to the next state up.
Yeah, so it was very nerve wracking.
The tires didn't look like, they weren't worn out or anything. They were just older. So this last time when I was going to take the Ormiga up to the border, the tires were 15 years old or something like that, 12 years old, something like that. So I just went and got a new set of tires, a different style. I didn't want the off-road tires anymore. And now I've got another set of new tires on it, the third set of tires in 25 years. Well, 24 years. Because November will be 25. Did I buy it in November?
Oh my god.
Because I know the thing was made in November of 99. The truck was made in the US, but made for export. So the federal sticker that you see on the US Durangos on the door, all it says is for export. It doesn't have any of the federal information on it. It's got the same sticker, it just says for export on it.
Chevrolet says that looks like a delivery Ford, the truck Ford would have built.
Yes, but they didn't.
Fernando says, I am wondering why pay to have a carryall custom made? Why not a van where they hard to get or just preference?
Vans were not sold here, Stephen. These 70s trucks you're looking at, this was the only way somebody could get a vehicle like that because the Chevy Suburban wasn't sold in Mexico until 1987. That was the first year they started selling the square body Suburbans as a passenger vehicle. So if you wanted something like that, you had to buy the truck, buy the pickup, and then it goes to the conversion company and they take your order and they make whatever you're gonna, whatever you order, passenger, cargo, 2 doors, 3 doors, whatever, barn doors or tailgate. They make whatever you want, and that's what you go. That's what you use. There was no other options, and doing that basically doubled the price of the vehicle. From the pickup to that vehicle, it doubled it because I bought a few of those already for customers, and it comes with the original invoice on it, which said how much the original pickup cost, and then how much
The
the
extras.
conversion cost, and how long it took also.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Chevrolet says, why didn't they have vans?
No, Barry Kuda says
Oh,
those
sorry.
big tires are very expensive here, but actually a tire shop fixed the slaps. How? At the time, I didn't know that was possible. It isn't.
Chevrolet says, why didn't they have vans?
They were not made. All vehicles sold in Mexico were made in Mexico, and there were no vans made in Mexico. The funeral the funeral homes, um, they needed to use a vehicle made in Mexico. So what they did was they bought a station wagon. They did sell station wagons here some, and they would send it to Los Angeles to Abbott and Hast, where Alan and his partner Ron would convert it into a hearse basically, but usually it's a first call car that they made, but for the Mexican cars, they turned them into a hearse, and and that's what they used in the funeral homes for their funeral cars. There was no funeral cars being made in Mexico until this guy in Guadalajara, oh, his father opened up the company, but that wasn't until after, because I knew Alan Abbott in Los Angeles. He had a lot of very interesting stories. But as a matter of fact, Mrs. Beck and I went to a car show in Sonora, and when we left the car show, we came down and we had to turn right to get to our hotel, and there was a funeral home on the right hand side, and there were two U.S. Hearses there. They weren't imported; they were just sitting there. They were from the '80s, Cadillacs from the '80s, and we were standing out there looking, and the guy comes out, and I said, "Yeah, I'm just looking at your cars. Oh, come on in." And then I asked him about any cars that they had that I was looking for. I was looking for an Abbott and Haas conversion. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, let me get your information, and if I find out anything, I'll call you. So I'm standing in his office and I'm giving him my information. I just casually look at a picture on the wall, and right there on the wall is a picture of an Abbott and Haas station wagon that this funeral home used to own, and it was right there on the wall. And I pointed and I said, "That's what I'm looking for right there, right there," as a guide. But if I had unlimited money, Mrs. Beck and I would get in a vehicle, whatever, drive all around Mexico visiting the funeral homes and looking for these Abbott and Haas cars, because there's got to be some out there. There's got to be some, because I know the specific things that they did on it that would tell us that they made it. It's a very specific design that they did, like frosting the back window and the design that they put on the frosted back window on the station wagons.
Jeff Hudson says, I was rocking it back and forth in a mud hole to get unstuck. The 727 held up, but the rear end didn't. I did drive home on a front axle, like Max Spec said.
Mm-hmm. There's
Fernando
always
says,
that option.
Fernando says, weird they wouldn't sell vans in Mexico.
It's not that they wouldn't sell them, as they didn't make them here, and there was no importing of vehicles. So if they don't make it here, they couldn't sell it. There were Econoline vans, the flat nose ones, in the early '60s, but they didn't sell many of them. And then they they didn't continue selling them with the '69 model. They didn't sell them anymore. And what I need to do is find out, because I have seen quite a few of the Econolines with a V8 in it, a 289 in it, and I would like to know if that was from the factory. Is it on the original invoice that came with a V8? Because none of those Econolines in the U.S. came with anything but an inline six-cylinder, and I'm curious to see if one actually came from the Mexican factory with a V8 in it, if somebody ordered it that way.
Pergola says they did it. Fashion says Barracuda, those big tires are expensive here too. I just put new Interco 38.5X 15.5 to 16.5 Super Swamper radials on my wife's 2000 F350 diesel. The cheapest price was almost $3,000.
I wonder what those tires could be gotten for here.
Jeff Hutchins says International used 727s in their full-size trucks and SUVs in the 1970s.
Whatever parts they could get,
Not,
they used.
now Jeff and Steven are on my side. Barracuda says Jeep.
Where's Steven on your side? It's only Jeff saying 727.
Wasn't it Steven as well?
No.
No, it was Steven as well.
Steven's asking about vans.
But it was Steven on my side as well.
Stray Bullet asked, did they have step vans for food trucks? No, Stray Bullet, they had Volkswagen vans.
It wasn't there.
The Volkswagen Combi handled all of that.
Stray Bullet says, do they have sevens for food trucks?
Nope, Combis handled all of that. The reason they put the liquid cooled engine in 1988 was because there were so many delivery vans, the Volkswagens, that they could leave the van running all day long with no problem. They stop and deliver a little bit at this little store, and then potato chips, and they go to the next little store. They deliver it. They're not going to keep turning it on and off and on and off. They left the van running the whole time, delivered what they needed to deliver, stayed cool. They had plenty of power to haul anything they wanted to haul in there. And then in 1991, 91 or 92, they put a raised roof on the vans, so you could get even more merchandise in there.
And the
You
guy
could,
could and the guy could stand up.
yeah, you can almost stand up in the van if you're not too tall. If you're not too tall, you could stand up in there. So that's
Mexican
why
people
they
are not
that's
too
why
tall.
they did that. It was the Volkswagen van is such a staple of Mexico and businesses and stuff that they had to make it a usable vehicle.
Jeff Hutchins says, no. My late night math is wrong. It was almost $5,000.
I'm gonna write that down.
Strebler says that's too
38,
small.
38 by 5 by 15
0.5
0.5
slash
16
16.5.
What does that mean? There's 38 and a half by 15 and a half. Is it 15 and a half or 16 and a half?
Super sample radials. Maybe one size on the front, one size on the back.
No, no.
Terry Morrison says interior two-tone red and white is super clean.
I wonder what those tires would cost here. They'd probably be Japan. They'd probably be Chinese though.
See, Jeff has my back.
Yes, but you said it was Steven too.
I misspoke about me. I was Steven. It was Jeff. Trouble says I could single-handedly eat every piece of food in a combi. Brandon says, okay, I need to be at work in 12 hours, so I guess I should be getting to sleep.
Okay, Steven, take it easy. Thanks for being here, both of you.
Thank you for joining us.
There's a lot of the combis that have been cut up to made into food trucks. The problem is the roof opens on the left side of the vehicle because it's not where the door is. So that's where they serve the food. So to sell one to somebody in the US, they would have to park it backwards on a street to serve the food to the people on the sidewalk, and the local cops would not allow that.
Joe Hudgens says those tires are so expensive. I bought them in pairs, which threw my math off.
I'm going to see what they are here, but what do you mean 16 and a half and 7 and 15 and a half? The wheels are is that there's too many numbers there. 38 and a half by 15 and a half. I'll look it up like that. Maybe it's 38 and a half.
I just asked for a phone number the other day when I was working, and instead of giving me 10 numbers, they gave me 13. I just wrote it down. I was like, whatever.
Well, the first ones is the country code.
No, it was 310.
310 was the first numbers?
Yeah.
That's the area code for Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Everybody knows what a phone number is.
Yeah. Jeff Hutchins says, I'd love to know what they are there.
It's mostly Chinese tires here, though, even though, Mexico should be making them. They're being imported from China. I put tires on the carryall, and they were, pretty meaty, and they were 20. I think they were 24.50 pesos each. So it was about 5,000 pesos for 2 tires, which, let's say, it was about $265 for 2 tires, something like that, for the back of the carryall, because they were completely worn out. I was not driving on those.
Mm-hmm.
No way. The tires I put on the Ram Charger came out to 7,000 pesos for 4 tires, which was $370 or so.
Says that's a 5,000 That's a 5,000 car here. $50,000
car.
Sorry. Jeff Hutchins says 38.5 inches tall, 15.5 wide, 16.5 wheel to fit Humvee, double bead locks and radials.
Okay.
They are a bit cheaper in bias supply. They are SSR if I remember right.
Super Swamper. Super Swamper.
Yep.
Yep. I'm curious what they are. What they are here. You could probably put it up, pull it up on Mercado Libre right there. You must have put wheels and everything on your wife's truck. That had to cost some money too.
I
All of these older cars, Stray Bullet, from 1966 back, are no problem bringing into California. No problem at all.
Comical.
There's no smog required. 67 and up, there is. 67 to 75, you have to smog at one time. So to get it, to conform, whichever, and then it's exempt. So what is the point? It's exempt anyway. That's 75. It's just their rules, but from what I understand, CARB is pretty much dead if the sheriff gets elected, the Riverside sheriff gets elected, and it's may change, but it's looking like there's going to be two Republicans to choose from on the ballot for governor, and if the Riverside sheriff gets elected, he said in some of his messages that first thing he's going to do is get rid of CARB, and the registration fee for every car in the state is gonna be $30 or whatever. He said something like that. Um, he's got all these things, but he's gonna find it's very difficult to do when they're gonna say, hey, you need to make up this money. The people are paying us $800 a year to register their old car. You're gonna bring it down to 30. You got to make up that money.
Jeff says, I think this was Chinese made.
It's probably that's a huge price to pay for Chinese tires. I don't care what tires they are. There were Chinese tires that I put on the Ram Charger, and the roads were so bad. There was about 300 kilometers of road that were so bad that the way they repaired them, you were, we were at highway speeds, and then we kept hitting the potholes or the filled in potholes really hard. And when he picked up the truck in Florida, one of the cords had separated inside the right front tire, which was making it pull to the right, because the whole time the truck was pulling to the right with me after I got off that road. So there was two reasons why we did not take that road when we stopped in Puebla for the night. We got back. We already told the story, but we went to eat that night, and the person that let us out the back gate of the hotel, asking, what we're doing. Oh, we're heading to Veracruz, and on that highway, you got to be very careful because the bad guys are doing this, this, and this. It's very dangerous. So then Mrs. Spec got on the phone with, started messaging somebody that lives in Veracruz, but she works with in her job, and they said, yeah, they're right. If you drive at night and all this, but there's a chance that I'm not taking a chance with a customer's Ram Charger. So we figured out a different route to go on, which was nice and smooth up in the hills. It was a beautiful ride, very nice people that we met and everything. So, so yeah, um, you just got to talk to the locals, when you're in a situation like that, and, see what's going on. If she wouldn't have said anything, we would never have known.
Trevor says, no, one Republican has to drop out. The communists aren't that stupid.
No, the way the elections are in California, in the primary, Republican or Democrat, whoever is got the most votes, either side, is who is on the ballot. If it's two Republicans, it's two Republicans. And I think that's what's going to happen because the two Republicans are polling way higher than the other three or the other however many.
Joe Hutchins says, yes, SSR just means super swamper radials. I put the wheels on about 10, 15 years ago. They are complicated and expensive too. I bought them used. Josh,
The original owner must have lost a lot of money on them.
Josh Sherman says there must be a lot of blown up tires when he goes. They're all made in China.
Well, they're not all made in China, but there's not a lot of people driving on the highway here. That just happened to be a horrible area that we were in, and I think right at the end of it was a toll booth that, some ways back we got a ticket where we went into where we got onto the highway, and we went at the end of the highway. They charge you however much it is for your use, because some people got on at different points and at different points, and then they would pay less. Well, they charge us like 600 and something pesos to drive on that horrible highway. That was the biggest insult there is.
Yeah, well, it says there it is.
Yep. This is a 63. It can be brought into California. Ow.
Sorry.
It can be brought into California.
All right.
This is the same thing that I have out in back here, my 63 Plymouth Savoy. This is a bottom of the line Dodge 330, but if you go back and look at the picture of it from the side, it has all of the trim from the higher model. Look, it's still got its original radio. It's
What?
Oh, it has heater controls there. So it might have a heater, more than mine has. But it's basically the same car that I have here.
Sorry.
Is it about time to stop?
I think so. I've been on 2 hours 26 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So little time given to the Datsun. There was only like 3 or 4 pictures of Stray Bullet. So that was all I could put in. I thought it looked good enough to. If you want to know how much it is, send me an email. You can find the email on my website. It's better to find it on my website.
No.
You can't copy it from here.
You don't have to know.
So thank you everybody for being here. It was a great conversation. And I'm gonna look up those tires and see how much they're going for here. My buddy owns a tire shop, so he gives me good prices anyway, but I'm gonna see how much they are at the retail level.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Strepolet. Thank you, Joe Showman. Jeff Hutchins.
Is there anybody else here? Has anybody been lurking?
There's supposed to be 13 people.
Is there anybody lurking that hasn't popped in and said hi yet? Well, I'm waiting for somebody to pop in and say hi. If there's anybody lurking. Oh.
Come on over and say your good nights.
Hopefully we'll get shipping set up on the West Coast so we can send more money, send more cars to different places. It'll keep me busy and keep me out of the house.
Thank you, Daniel Morrison.
Thank you, Daniel, for being here. I wish we were going to sleep.
We had to do the trash. I had to finish the chicken.
Clean the litter box. Oh, look.
No.
Oh, it went in the crack.
No. I didn't even do crack.
That was a centipede that just walked across the floor and went into a crack in the cement floor. So not much we can do about that.
I can spray it.
No, you don't want your room smelling like that. I find him in the bathroom every once in a while. Hey, Barracuda. Good night.
Good night, Barracuda.
They're in the bathroom every once in a while. Underneath the shower doors. I don't know how they get in there, but they go down the drain after that. Good night, everybody.
You let me know.
Go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Good night, guys.